people were stabbed in a rabbi's house during a Hanukkah celebration this weekend, just the latest in a recent string of violent attacks against Jews in the United States. And get this, the party of Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Louis Farrakhan, and Linda Sarsour want you to think that all of this Jew hatred is Donald Trump's fault. And I think I speak for every decent and rational person when I say, what the? Now eat the funny cookie and follow me down this rabbit hole, if you will, and you let me know when this stops making any sense. Here we go. Over the weekend, a man wielding a knife barged into a rabbi's home and stabbed 5 people as they were celebrating the 7th night of Hanukkah in an Orthodox Jewish community just north of New York City. The attacker's name is floating around out there, but I'm not going to say it out loud, so we'll just refer to him here as Piece of Garbage. The Piece of Garbage did all of this because he hates the Jews. And as a string of recent events have proven, he is far from the only one. Now, unfortunately, unlike the church shooting in White Settlement, Texas that left 2 innocent people dead on Sunday, no one at the rabbi's home was packing a pistol to shoot Piece of Garbage in the cranium before he could go on his bloody rampage. But despite the fact that Piece of Garbage was the vile racist who was swinging a knife, guess who the left has decided to blame for this attack? Seriously, take a guess. You'll only need one. Donald Trump. Must be a day that ends in Y. Congressman and 2-second presidential candidate Eric Swalwell tweeted that anti-Semitism is on the rise in America and it's being stoked by Donald Trump. Congressman Steve Cohen blamed Trump for making, quote, unacceptable conduct acceptable. Like stabbing people? Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib said that Trump ignites violence and fuels people's anger and misguided hate. Rashida Tlaib. So now let's back up here for context, which I know the left hates, but we're going to do it anyway. When Donald Trump signed an executive order targeting anti-Semitism on college campuses, liberals all but lost their minds, screaming about free speech and the liberation of Palestine, which, you know, is pretty ironic, if you ask me, considering that's the first time they've cared about the First Amendment in as long as I can remember. How convenient. When the Trump administration pulled the U.S. off of the United Nations Human Rights Council because they were pointedly targeting Israel, he was accused of snubbing the rest of the world and abandoning a U.S. position of strength. When the Trump administration moved the U.S. Embassy in Israel to Jerusalem, not a single Democrat showed up to its historic opening. When the Trump administration openly references the Judaic faith of Trump's own daughter and son-in-law, Trump is accused of using them as human shields. But now he's not condemning anti-Semitism strongly enough, or even worse, he's actually responsible for it? Are you kidding me? That's what Democrats think? This is the party of Ilhan Omar, who has accused Jews of buying congressional support for Israel, has claimed that Israel has hypnotized the world, and has publicly supported Palestine, whose government literally rewards the families of terrorists who kill Jews. It's the party of Rashida Tlaib, who openly supports the anti-Semitic BDS movement and who has defended women's march leaders like Linda Sarsour, who were so anti-Semitic they got booted off their own board by other liberals. This is the party whose most recent Oval Office occupant palled around with Louis Farrakhan on the regular. And while we're on the subject of Farrakhan, Maxine Waters and Barbara Lee have regularly attended his events, where he's been known to call Jews all manner of vile things, including satanic and termites. But Trump is responsible for anti-Semitism? Really? I'll tell you who's responsible for the stabbing in New York. Piece of Garbage. Piece of Garbage is responsible. And the left is responsible for turning a blind eye to the rampant anti-Semitism that has infected their ranks like a cancer. Here's the simple truth. You can blame guns, you can blame knives, you can blame Trump. You can blame whatever and whoever you want, and it'll accomplish nothing because it is all just to score political points. The very plain reality is this. Jews are under attack in this country. Our houses of worship are under attack. For that matter, so are our shopping malls, our schools, and our sporting events. And you are your first and often only line of defense. Now, fortunately for those in that Texas church, a good guy with a gun was there to stop a massacre. Something I wish had been there in that rabbi's home. And we do have a gun problem in this country. The problem is we don't have enough guns, and not enough people carry them. And if the left weren't so busy trying to strip us of our right to defend ourselves and blaming Trump for everything under the sun, maybe we'd have a few less bodies in the streets and perhaps even a few less Jew haters in our Congress. And that's your Reality Check, America. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, like us on Facebook and Twitter, and stay sane out there.